Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live, and welcome to Spa-Francorchamps for Week 9 of the IMSA Sportscar Series. This kicks off another Super Sunday worth of action here on Apex Racing TV, starting here with the IMSA Sportscar Series, and then later with the BSR Mazda MX-5 Cup and the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. Well, good evening, or good afternoon, everybody. Adam Bath here with our Racing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. And Alex, Spa-Francorchamps, we've been here a while in recent times, but now it's the turn of the IMSA cars to take that turn around the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this one. I think Spa, great circuit. It's also a long circuit, so traffic not going to have quite so much of a role as it has done on previous weeks, and of course a lot more room out there. A very, very wide circuit. So yeah, I think we're just going to see the drivers kind of do what they do out there today, rather than traffic playing a major role. Still will play a part, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure the drivers are going to be relieved. We were racing at Lime Rock Park 2 weeks ago, we're at Atlanta, not as much room there, and now we're on the wide open spaces of Spa.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't, for some reason, the track guides are not working, but yeah, we'll have a look at that for next time. That's what you get when you're just trying to jump into one of these sessions with 5 minutes to go.
Well, yeah, it's a short qualifying session for these guys, 2 laps to make an impact, and then, yeah, 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop in as well. So the drivers have got plenty to keep their eyes on, and of course we've got 3 classes worth of action in the Daytona prototypes, the main class there, the German GT3s made up of the Audis, the BMWs and the Mercedes, and the C-Spec category speaks for itself. And yeah, next season, Alex, season 2, we can expect to see the Porsches joining this championship as well.
Yeah, I think the Porsche will be there, which will be good. I get the feeling that the IMSA will get a massive boost as well in participation. Not that it isn't doing too bad right now. 4 splits here today as well, so constantly this split seems to be getting better and better and better. So yeah, it's awesome to see, and I think the Porsche will make it even better. The GT3s will struggle to be the highest turnout, I think. So although even this session right now, it's a really good split amongst all 3 cars.
Oh, even with the trackers demanding a Spa, it's great to see 4 splits worth of competition, and shows that this track is still very popular with all the drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Just taking a quick look at championship standings, even just as guys are finishing up their run. Starting off with the rough C-Spec for a change. So Leonardo Corti leading the way on 1,475 points. He has got 8 weeks counted. So David Barraclough and Marcel Fassbender are the only other drivers on 8 weeks counted. They're on 1,200 and 1,016 each, or respectively. Sorry. Daniel Buck, who's had some really good, strong races of late, 12 wins this season, only 6 weeks counted, but 966. So you'd think, a couple of 200 pointers, and he's going to be right on the tail of Corti. So this championship is very much on the line at the moment. And then Antti Salmon in there as well. He's on 5 weeks counted with 749. So he needs to do every week from now on to make it, but he definitely could be a potential championship winner at the end of this as well. So top 5 looking pretty good.
Close on track, and it's close in the championship as well. I'm still loading into the session, Alex, so how far have we got in qualifying, or even down on the grid?
No, we're not on the grid. Oh, the good old laptop days, eh, Adam?
Yeah.
There's a few cars still out there at the moment, but most are very nearly done, I have to say. So there's not long left. Let's hope you are in.
I should be in time, but one thing I will be missing for this race is any sort of lap time and pit stop information. So I think you might have to be my eyes and ears on that, Alex. But yeah, should be in for a good race. Spa-Francorchamps, we were here in the Ricmatech Sportscar Series for a 90-minute race last week, and the Mustangs and the Mazda MX-5s, Alex, that was a pretty good race there as well.
Yeah, it was. Right, we are finished indeed with qualifying now. So let's bring up the stand-in. So Bertie with pole position with a 207.567, and then it's Dennis in second place, just 69 behind him. Marceno there, followed by Vecchio.
I've sort of hung you out to dry here, Alex, with all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
names,
sorry,
haven't I?
because and for some unknown reason my timing screen's all over the place, so I'm not even sure on the grid. I've got one thing saying one and one on another, so I do apologise this time as well. So a bit of a technical glitch going on as well, which really is not helping me at all. So I'm not even convinced that that is the right grid order. So I do apologise, guys. I'll bring it through the screen just so you can see it. But yeah, like I say, it's not sure which one's correct, but one's showing one thing and one's showing another. So. Very odd.
Well, the good news is I'm now in the session, so I can run you through the grid. Tim Bertie's on pole position. Martin van Loozenord starting in second. In fact, I lie because it's Tim Bertie on pole, Dennis Duna starting in second. Simone Maceno in third, Gianni Vecchio in fourth, Fabrice Cornelis starting in fifth. Sixth is Marco Archdiacono. Seventh, Dustin Hickman. Martin van Loozenord starting in eighth. Ninth, Maximilian Scheider. Then it's Pablo Gonzalez in 10th with Newman in 11th. Then into the German GT3s, it's a lead one starting in pole position there. Patrick Gugel starting in second in that class, with Bakalega in third, Gisoglu in fourth, then Johan Lespinassi in fifth, sixth Giannis Shordakis, and then Alessandro Dalladoni in seventh, Luigi Nespolino eighth, Jorge Valls in ninth, and 10th is Hugo Preto. And then Marco Abati in 11th and Mikuloki in 12th. Then into the rough sea specs, it's David Barraclough leading the way in that grid. Leonardo Corsi second, Jürgen Frank third, Tobias Lugar in fourth, Marcel Fassbender fifth, sixth Nikolai Karotin, and then the cars didn't set times. Chris Pence in his Daytona prototype, Steve Calais in his rough sea spec, along with Eitzar Iqbal and Benoit Vuillemoz. Few newcomers to the championship, or few newcomers to this top split, I should say.
Yeah,
Alex.
to the top split. Yeah, thank you for that, Adam, as well. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the timing screen there, because I had like a Martin there, and then he wasn't there, and all sorts of stuff. So on one screen, it was still showing him as in second place. So yeah, weird.
45-minute race, and of course, we're not going to be using the start line on the Grand Prix circuit. Oh no, we're going to be using it on the exit of La Source. However, the timing line will remain at the exit of the bus stop chicane. So the field is in the hands of Tim Bertie and Dennis Duna on the front row of the grid. The safety cars come into the pit lane, and it is a very long pit lane here on this endurance layout. Here come the Daytona prototypes. Tim Bertie accelerates away, and the green flag is out, and we're racing in the IMSA Sportscar Series at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, good start by everybody. They're all through Eau Rouge, are they? Safe and sound? Looks good. Oh, someone very sideways at the top of the of Eau Rouge, so they're not through safe and sound at all. That's Gonzalez there, just completely into the wall. That's going to be his race. Let's check with the GT3s. They're screaming around now as well.
Yeah, Bakalega is not leading the way. It's Les one leading the way. Yeah, and Gonzalez, they're closing in on him. It's starting to go too wide in places in the German GT3s, going into late con for the first time. You can see this field heavily dominated by the Audis and the Mercedes for this race meeting.
Yeah, and no sign of championship leaders for the, or certainly not for
Paul
GT3.
Ilbrink,
Paul
no.
Ilbrink not around, so good opportunities for guys to make up some points on Paul today.
Well, it's probably because we often see those Radicals guys racing in the BMW, Alex, and they probably picked a drop week here because it's probably not going to be pretty effective around this circuit as well.
No, indeed. So no Zach Thomas. So is Alex Saunders out there? He's not out there. So the top three in the championship aren't even there out there. So Luigi Nespolino is currently down in 20th overall. He's the man that can make the most amount of ground this week. 6 weeks counted. You know, get a good points haul here, and he could be could move up the table a little bit.
Race leaders on their way towards Blanchimont for the first time then. Tim Bertie already in the lead, but he's getting pressurised by Dennis Duna going through Blanchimont. Very fast corner in these Daytona prototypes going into the bus stop chicane. Tim Bertie looks like he's going to be under pressure as three wide going into the bus stop. Up the inside there it's Fabrice Cornelis and Martin van Loozenord, who we see in the Formula Renaults. He's in the mix there, and right side by side with him is Marco Archdiacono, a familiar face in this championship.
Yeah, Marco a bit further down than we're used to seeing him, so he's going to have to deal with Martin, new face. Obviously we know Martin very, very well, of course. And yeah, I was talking to him about an hour ago. He said, oh, what's this broadcast race you're not doing? And he goes, oh, I fancy having a play. So he's not done much practice, that's for sure.
Well, that is one of the positives of iRacing. You can jump into any race and just learn the car within a few moments, and then you're on your way. And Martin van Loozenhoorn is now trying to put the pressure on Fabrice Cornelis going into Les Combes. You can see van Loozenhoorn quite clearly has got some damage to the front right of his Daytona prototype already. Up the inside goes the former World Championship Grand Prix Series driver, and Martin van Loozenhoorn is through into 5th place.
He likes a challenge, does Martin, so yeah, now's worth of testing. That's right up his street. Oh, so Dunas took the lead as well. He missed that one. Let's go back. Just see that.
Yeah, so Dennis Duna taking the lead, was second at the start of the lap. Well, is this going to be a move into Les Combes? It looks like it. Yeah, and up the inside, a good old slipstream sort of move that we see around the circuit.
Yeah, side by side as well, all through that sector. So good driving.
Check in on the rough C-Specs for the first time today. We didn't really see their start. Jürgen Frank leading the way in that class. Second is Leonardo Corti. Then Marcel Fassbender is side by side with David Bakloff going into Rivage for their second lap. Bakloff up the inside, and that is going to be third place in class for him.
Yeah, just having a look. Baraclough obviously right up there in the championship, so he needs to beat Corti today to have any chance. I mean, he's 275 points behind, so needs to, these last 4 weeks with drop weeks and things like that kicking in, he definitely needs to have some good results. So to shake off the attack from Marcel behind and start going on the offensive, really.
Nice to see close battle though in the rough C-Specs, Alex, because in the races we've had the last few weeks, that class seems to have spread out quite a bit in the opening stages.
Yeah, and I think we've got a lot of quick guys in here this one as well, looking at who's turned up, so I expect it to be quite close.
Yeah, of course, last few race meetings we've been at very tight tracks such as Lime Rock Park. Drivers might have fancied their chances of dropping a week there. And possibly the same at Road Atlanta as well. Tricky track to get right there. So we could see some big names back in abundance here at Spa-Francorchamps. And yeah, they're being well represented in the rough C-Spec category today as Fassbender continues his charge to try and get past Baraclough going into one-stop chicane, but looks like no advancements just yet.
Three's getting particularly close together. Looks like this might be an Audi preferred track this week, as it's Audi.
It's close in the top two classes as well. We've got a lead trio breaking away in our Daytona prototypes with Duna, Berti and Marcheno, and yeah, in the German GT3s as well, Audi of Pavel Ledwin, and then second is Patrick Kugel and Alessandro Baccalega in third, and then Johan Lespinassi has trying to hold on to their coattails just behind.
Of course, Pavel is Radicals as well, so they're still here, but yeah, one of the Audi drivers instead. So as side by side, Baraclough and Fassbender gets through.
And that is Fassbender through into, that is him back into third place in class, I do believe. Corti and Jürgen Frank, the cars in front of them. And yeah, that battle continues for the final podium spot in the rough C-Spec category. Fassbender and Baraclough race together pretty much every week in every broadcast that we do here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live, and they're doing so here again today at Spa-Francorchamps.
I get the feeling that they're going to be at each other's throats for the rest of this race.
Across come the leaders in the Daytona prototype category. It is Dennis Duna leading the way. He's pulled out quite a bit on this last lap, Alex. It looks like it's going to be a battle over second place then between Berti, Vecchio and Marcheno, Berti and Vecchio.
Yeah, this is an absolute fantastic series and a fantastic class as well, because every week there's someone who's a little bit quicker than somebody else, you know? It's not just one person dominating it every week. You know, there comes in and people come in and they're quick, and then somebody else is quick, and you know, you just don't know who's going to be challenger at the front of this one.
Yeah, and just the slightest bit of error, and of course you've got the traffic to worry about as well, which is something you don't get in other series that we cover on other series on iRacing, I should say, like the Blancpain Sprint series, because you've not only have you just got to worry about your car and the fuel that you've got to manage going into the pit stops, we've also got to deal with the slower traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having a quick look actually. Gianni Vecchio behind Bertie. So one of his teammates, of course, has got past Lusenord as well and starting to close in on his teammate as well. So I think we're going to have a quartet at the front very, very quickly.
Yeah, and Vecchio was lapping very quickly on that last lap, 208.985. Same for Martin van Lusenord, 208.568. If you compare that to the cars in front of them, Tim Bertie, pretty slow on that last lap, 209.286. So that's going to make him slightly vulnerable to attack from cars behind if he continues at that pace. And how long is it before we start to get into lap traffic? The last car in the rough C-spec, Benoit Vuillemoz, coming across the line just now in the rough C-specs as the leader, Dennis Duna, goes into Blanchard.
Yeah, I think Martino got past Bertie that lap as well, which is why Tim's lap looks slower than it perhaps was.
Yeah.
So. And also why Duna got that little bit of extra lead. So, but they've pulled that back in a little bit. It was 1.5 seconds last lap as they come across the time in line now. So it's a 207.9 for Duna once again. Mastino 207.569. So 0.4 of a second quicker, and Bertie back in the 207s as well. So yeah, quick lap for the top three.
Marco versus Martin going into Eau Rouge side by side there. Looks like Van Lusenord just has enough of an advantage to hold the line through Eau Rouge, but this is surely going to be Marco Arcidiacono's best opportunity to take 5th place away going down the Kemmel Straight.
I bet Martin's driving in the baseline setup out there as well. Ridiculous. That really wouldn't surprise me. Just took some wing off of it or something like that.
Oh, forces Marco out wide. Of course, we saw a great battle here back in 95 between Schumacher and Hill. Similar move there, pulled off by Martin van Lusenord there. And this is now forcing a big train to form behind Marco Arcidiacono. Then it's Fabrice Cornelis and Dustin Hickman, who is still the championship leader, I think, Alex, in the Daytona prototypes.
Sorry, say that again. I was just looking at some comments on YouTube.
Is Dustin Hickman still the leader in the Daytona prototypes in the championship?
I will just go and very quickly check that because I'm not 100% sure myself. No, Marco's actually leading now from Hickman, so Marco needs a good run here. There's not much between them, only 4 points.
Wow, and there you go. And they're running only 2 spots apart in the race today, so the race for the championship is on between these guys. For people that are unfamiliar, Alex, if you win an official series, do you get any prize money or anything from iRacing?
No, sadly not. You get, bragging rights
certificate.
And a certificate. Yeah. So thank you, Steve, for that, or Tony, or whoever it is who signs them. I'd never check.
One to stick up on the wall with a bit of blue tack, or maybe even to frame. Depends on how good you've done in the championship. But yeah, Marco Arcidiacono going to be going for this overall IMSA Sportscar Series Championship. We're not too far away from the end of the season, really. We're 2/3 of the way through. In fact, 3/4 of the way through. This is race 9 of 12 in the series. Not too many race meetings to go.
Looking back in with the GT3s, or zip back as well, because Martin might come under a bit of pressure in a moment. But there's a good little group formed up between Nesteros in 17th overall. So, and he 3.5 seconds back from the group, that's the lead group basically, but definitely a little train starting to form up. And I have to say, it just looks like a bunch of Mercedes in this second group. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the head of the German GT3 field is the Audis, and then it's quickly followed by the 2 Mercs, and then Luigi Nespolino's Audi in there for good measure, and then yeah, you've got Dalladone and then Blascoval's Audi, and yeah, you can see the Audis well represented in this little gaggle of cars.
Oh, look at this, side by side, Marco's through.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I think that's Fabrice trying to get past Martin as well. Martin definitely the train at the moment that's holding them all up. So.
There's the rough C-spec as well, all side by side into Pouon, free wide nearly, and Hickman might run into the back of Fabrice Cornelis. He nearly did, having to put 2 wheels onto that grasscrete on the exit of Pouon, and now towards the Fania chicane. Dustin Hickman, as he can have a look at the inside, but good job there by Fabrice Cornelis to make sure that Dustin Hickman, second in the overall championship, doesn't get through.
Oh, Martin's out.
Oh, there you go.
The inevitable was coming. So I'm not sure he got a little tap or anything like that from behind, but yeah, he's His race is done. Let's just go on board and see that from on board with Fabrice. Exactly what happened. It's pretty easy to lose it around here, just trying a little bit hard. And car has a habit of snap oversteer, which no, he's onto the curbs. The car was a little bit unsettled, and he's on the gas and then away. So just snap back on him. So just totally his own fault there.
Well, it was a valiant attempt by Martin van Loozenod. I can speak for myself as well, saying that yeah, I've done what he's done, jumping into an IMSA race relatively unprepared and learning the track as I went along. But unfortunately, it hasn't paid off for Martin van Loozenod today. And yeah, he is out of the race and has exited the session pretty promptly. So I don't think we're going to be seeing him back on the track for the rest of the broadcast today.
There's a few Apex people in the chat, so yeah. They'll all have a little chuckle and a snigger and take the pee out of him later. You can be sure of that. Oh, I see, was that running just a little bit wide as well. So
we'll see Martin van Loozenod again on Tuesday in the BSL Formula Renault Series, which he's actually doing a pretty good job in as well for the Apex banner. So yeah, that's not the last you've heard of Martin van Loozenod. Marco Diacono stuck behind a rough C-spec, and this is only going to make him receive more pressure off Azar Iqbal. Sorry, Fabrice Cornelis going into Rivage. It was Azar Iqbal that they were just lapping there. But yeah, close in the Daytona prototypes.
Corti starting to close back into Jürgen Frank as well at the head of the C-spec class.
Yeah, it's spread out just a bit more than when you last checked in the rough C-spec category. But yeah, we'll see what the lap times are like when they come around to complete this lap. Jürgen Frank having to dab the brakes quite a few times there going into Blanchimont in a car like the Rough Alex. It must be pretty unsettling going into P1 in one of these cars.
Yeah, I imagine so, but still a lot of fun as well.
Oh! Yeah, Corsi lighting up the rears on the exit of the bus stop chicane, comes across the line, does a 2:24.002, 2:23.5 for Jürgen Frank. So there you go, a tenth of a second difference between the two leaders in the World C-Spec category, and Leonardo Corti. It's got time. We're only about 15 minutes into the race, and yeah, of course he's got the rest of the race and the pit stops in his favour if he wants to try and get past Jürgen Frank and take the Rough C-Spec win in this race.
Yeah, the 45 minutes is...
sorry, battle in the German GT3s between Nespolino, Dalladone and Shordakis. This is in that second group. Side by side for the Fanish chicane between Kisoglu and Nespolino.
Yeah, hung out to dry really there. Nespolino, he has to get back into line really quickly, otherwise he's going to lose another place, and he does that. So, but yeah, it's not going right for him. He needs a good result here. A nice sort of top 3 finish, pick him up 200 points. Struggling to work his way through.
Top 3 remain the same in the German GT3s, by the way. It's Pavel Ledvin leading the way there, and then second is Patrick Gischel and Alessandro Baccalega in third. Quickest out of the top 3 on that last lap was Baccalega, third place, over 2:15.246. Johan Lesbenassi still holding on to the back of these guys, and in a few moments' time they're going to start lapping the first of the roughs. There's Benoit Vuillemos.
Yeah, Johan just wants them to have a little battle, doesn't he? Because they haven't tried to do anything for a few laps. He's just starting to lose the draft now as well, so he desperately needs just a little battle so he can gain a 3 or 4 tenths of a second up and get right back in that draft again.
Well, you can see our leader in the German GT3s moving across just a little bit, just to make sure that there's no up the inside manoeuvres done by Patrick Gischel, but no way through just yet. And yeah, a stalemate at the moment in this lead battle in the German GT3s. Could that stalemate be about to come to an end though, as we start to lap the rough C-specs? Relatively easy for those 3 to get past Benoit, and also the same for Johan Lesbenassi to get through as well.
Getting back a little bit closer at the front again, now that traffic started to play a little role. So Dennis, slightly slower lap, Bertie looks like he's lost touch a little bit as well this lap with the traffic. So Martino, a good lap from him, closes back in, but yeah, look at that, 1.5 seconds slower that lap. So
oh,
the difference.
Dear me. Dennis Duna, yeah, nearly running into the back of Jürgen Frank going through Eau Rouge. Going to lose a bit of time there. Oh, you can see the amount of ground that the second placeman Marcheno has been able to get on him, and he's on the grass just a little bit there. Our race leader, Dennis Duna. Oh, where's Bertie? He's trying in the background.
He's weaving down the straight to get through the traffic. One of the GT3s, I think, was trying to let him go, but in the end, to get back out of it. So it was interesting.
And that was him just trying his hardest to try and get past all of those guys, and yeah, eventually managed to do so. But yeah, and he hasn't lost too much time, but I think the biggest loser on this lap so far has definitely been our race leader, Dennis Duna. Simone Marcheno right with him now, going through the corner with no name, turn 7, and then plunging down the hill towards Pouon. And Marcheno still sticking with him. The next bit of traffic isn't for a while yet, so they can now start to put in the good lap times.
Yeah, exactly. Pedal to the metal for the moment. They could do.
Just over a 2-minute lap for these Daytona prototypes. It's about a 7-second difference between themselves and the German GT3s. The GT3s doing 2:14s, 2:15s, and then yeah, Jürgen Frank and the Rough C-Specs, they're doing 2:24s, 2:25s. So that's an idea of the speed difference that we've got across the field today in the IMSA Sportscar Series.
Yeah, it makes it, you know, that sort of time gap makes it just a little bit easier to get moves done. You know, when it's a little bit tighter, then it's that's when it can be a little bit more tricky.
Yeah,
like what we saw, obviously, at Lime Rock.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Heard there. Lap times were about 10-15 second difference between all of those guys. Across the line we go. Just to highlight the loss of time that Dennis Duna had, 2:09.382. His best lap he's done throughout the whole race today. Is a 2:07.626, so getting held up a good 2.5 seconds by that lap traffic. And Dennis Duna will be hoping that he doesn't have to deal with that for a little bit longer. See what other battles are going on in the field. Tell you what, that lap traffic with the Daytona prototypes has allowed the lead battle to get a bit interesting in the Rough C-Spec category. Jürgen Frank's got Leonardo Corsi right with him now. Same with Marcel Fassbender. He's keeping a watchful eye on these guys. And you can't roll up David Barraclough. He's in 3rd in the Rough C-Spec category at the moment.
Yeah, and they're onto the Kemmel straight as well, so an opportunity for a pass. The prototype stayed exactly as they were, but so Corti's closing 4/10, 3/10. I don't think he's going to get there, unfortunately. So, yeah, trimmed out a lot, I think, Jürgen for this one. Sensible move with the long straights that we've got here. So yeah, Cordy's got some work to do to get past.
Marco Archdiacono's been into the pits.
Yeah.
I presume it's a scheduled stop. We are quickly approaching the halfway mark in the race, and Archdiacono taking a quick stop, and all looks relatively normal. Alex, he's on his way.
Yep, good stop, 10.2 seconds, so as long as he's took enough fuel, he'll be absolutely fine. And I think he needed that, because I think he was quicker than the guys in and around him, but there was so much going on that just couldn't really get through. So maybe he could do something with the strategy. You know, of course, needs to really prioritise that he beats Dustin Hickman. That's his #1 goal. That'll keep him on top of that championship.
How long's the pit lane time for these Daytona prototypes, Alex? How long are they spending in this super long endurance pit lane?
Yeah, I actually haven't got the live timing up today, so my bad. So I can't give you that info.
Okay.
But yeah, 10 seconds stationary. So, but it's going to be
about 90 seconds or so.
Yeah, I would say the best part of about a minute. I mean, if you look at the gap now, he's about a minute behind, minute and 10 seconds behind. So I'm pretty sure he's only about 10 seconds behind when he pitted earlier. So.
I'll quickly see if anyone else has been into the pits in the Daytona prototypes. Doesn't look like it yet. We've had a few German GT3s come in though. Luigi Nespolino's into the pits. Same for Hugo Prato. Those two Audis currently in at the moment, and they've both just got on their way now. So some early pit stops in the German GT3s too. One thing we've noticed over the last few weeks, Alex, is that the Rough C-Specs.
Here we go.
Something happens.
Side for the lead.
Duna v Marcheno going into Les Combes. Oh, this is close. Oh, the inside contact's made, and around goes Duna. Oh, nearly collects Tim Bertie on his way back. And there you go, Alex contacts up the inside, and I might just say that Dennis Duna should have given Marcheno a bit more room there.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that back, and we'll see. That's the thing, when someone gets alongside, you've got to give them the room as well. I know it swings both ways. He'll argue that he gave him just enough room, but you always run the risk of being spun when you're the car on the outside. Oh, I don't think he could have got any more over to the left, if I'm honest. He was right up on the curb. So, doing around pretty quickly and back underway. He maintains third place, but he'll be a bit frustrated, I'm sure.
At least the good news for him is that pretty much zero damage he's picked up from that. But yeah, new race leader, Simone Marcheno. Tim Bertie now in second place. I'm sure his life would have flashed before his eyes when he saw that Daytona prototype in the middle of the circuit. And yeah, Dennis Dooner in third place. So what is this going to do in terms of the race for the win? And of course we've got the pit stop still to come in this race as well. Dennis Dooner could use the pit stop strategy to try and leapfrog the two cars in front and get the lead back. Just before that spin happened, Alex, I was going to say that the rough C specs we've tended to see over the last few race meetings, they seem to run the longest in these races.
Yeah, they do, and I expect this little group to do the same again as long as they can. And I think for those guys, it's not so much about the strategy of when to pit because of traffic or anything like that. You know, the quicker cars will have a look and go, "Oh my God, look at that group in front of me." You know, that's going to be that lap's going to cost me 3 or 4 seconds. You know, I'll come in now. Where these kind of always got people coming by them, so a lot of it's all about trying to maximise the fuel in the car so that when they stop, they're in the pit for as short time as possible. As Fassbender got extremely loose there, he just caught the curb going through Blanchimont, and the car bounced as the C-Spec loves to do, and yeah, all sorts of sideways, but manages to hold onto it. But yeah, that was squeaky bum moment for sure.
Wow. Yeah, we've got a few more pit stops happening on this lap. I just said that the Rust E-Specs like to run long in this race, but I'm getting proved wrong here by Leonardo Corti. A quick pit stop here, Alex, and he might be doing the undercuts here to try and get past Jürgen Frank.
Yeah, let's see, because I mean he has been close, but just doesn't seem to quite have enough top end to get it done. So, but yeah, long old stop as he comes around through the endurance part as well. We won't stick with this because yeah, it's a minute long.
Yeah, and the drivers need to watch out for that concrete wall on the outside of La Source. Many drivers have hit that in the past, and yeah, you don't want to end up on caught on camera for the IMSA Sportscar Series. I can tell you that the new leader in the German GT3s, I believe, is Nestoras Kiyosoglu, as he now comes into the pit lane. The three Audis at the front have all made their trip to the pits, and yeah, the rest of the German GT3 field now making their way through the pit lane. Les Benassi's come into the pits. He was, of course, that fourth Audi. And Nikolai Karotin has come into the pits as well. Pavel Ledvin, the Audi is into the pits as well.
Only Pavel that's pitted of the top three. The rest are still all out there. Okay. So currently 10th and 11th overall.
So the leader in the German GT3 is taking the time now to make his pit stop. Simone Marcheno's come around again in his Daytona prototype. Same for Bertie. Is Dennis Dooner coming to the pits? No, he's staying out along with Giovanni Vecchio. So the top four all staying out, I should say, along with Fabrice Cornelis. Same for Dustin Hickman. So yeah, so we've had a few come into the pits so far, but not too many fancying the opportunity to come into the pits just yet. We've just gone past the halfway mark in the race.
But it's very, very close at the front at the moment. He's 10th and 11th overall.
Oh yeah. Is this Gushel and Alessandro Baccalega?
That's the one.
Going into the Fania chicane then. These guys, I believe, are the first of the cars that haven't pitted just yet. And yeah, going into the right-hander at Stavolo, now into curve Paul Frere. The two Audis going at it here. Could we see it move into the bus stop chicane? We haven't seen too many overtakes going in to that corner today. We saw Martin van Loosenhoorn try and get a move done on lap one of the race. But it is pretty hard to follow a car with the speeds that we're doing and the downforce that's at play going through this Blanchimont corner into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, we'll need a little lift from the GT3s. And yeah, just too far back to make a move. It'd be an absolute dive from here. Maybe a last lap gig. And both drivers into the pits as well. So.
Oh! As I think Patrick Cashel might have just hit the wall there going into the pit lane.
Easily done, I have to say. I've lost a I know in a IGPS race, I've lost a left rear suspension.
Oh
That
no.
wall as I come in, trying to get in as quickly as possible to try and get an overcut. Yeah, that was a lesson learned very painfully.
It's probably as bad as me doing a whole week practice for the iRacing Belgian Grand Prix that happened a couple of years ago, and then lighting up the rears away from the line and crashing into the wall. Couldn't quite believe it. And yeah, so we've had our mess ups at this circuit, I can tell you that. I'm sure if Vista Woodhouse was here, he'd fill us in as well on a few mishaps that we might have had, that he might have had over the past few years on iRacing. But yep, Gushel and Bakale get into the pits. Same for Jorge Blascavals. Mikulerki also in. And yeah, Pavel Edvin should come through and regain his lead in the German GT3s. Marcheno in as well, Alex, as well.
Okay. I'm just looking at this battle that's still forming up between, forming up, that's been going on for the best part of the race between Barraclough and Fassbender as well. So, been recovering after his little moment that he had a couple of laps ago. But half a second behind Barraclough right now. But those guys are 2.8 seconds behind Jürgen Frank. There's Frank just going through Blanchimont.
If he decides to take the opportunity to pit on this lap, I can tell the whole top 5 have come in the Daytona prototype, so don't expect too many position changes there unless for a speeding in the pit lane ticket.
All the GT3s have been in now as well.
Okay, so we've got that out of the way now with pretty much 15 minutes to go in the race. Marcheno emerges from the pits. Does he lead though? That is the question. Where's Dennis Duna? He is just emerging from the pits now. So it looks like it's pretty much as you were. Vecchio will remain in 4th. Cornelis should be in 5th place. So no major changes there. Here comes Marco Archdiacono. He's just heading through Eau Rouge now and Radion. And yeah, he is still in about 8th place. What we're looking for regarding him is when Dustin Hickman's going to come into the pits, because those two were the cars that were battling before the pit stops began.
Seems the chat are enjoying playing the IMSA drinking game, and yeah, if you boys had let us know you're going to do that, we'd have broadcast the bottom split for you today. You've had a royal jolly Sunday.
Love to know what it entails, the IMSA Sportscar Series drinking game.
Yeah, a 1x a drink. It should be like, you know, 1 finger's worth of drinks for a 1x, 2 for 2 times, you know, a 4 for a 4x. So
I wonder what a GT3 collision is. Well, a collision with a car in a lower class. As Dustin Hickman comes into the pits, super slow pit lane here, 37 miles per hour. I think that's 64 kilometers per hour or something along those lines. But yeah, Dustin Hickman in, and we will now watch with interest. He was the leader before he came into the pits. We'll watch with interest to see where Marco Archdiacono is. He's just heading through Kerpolfra now and on his way to Blanchimont. So this could be pretty tight, Alex, between Dustin Hickman and Marco Archdiacono when the pit stop finishes.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Bertie close once again, so he's recovered. Definitely the better of the pit stops.
Oh, and they're coming up on a huge amount of traffic, Tim Bertie and our race leader, Simone Marcheno.
I don't know what happened to... Oh no, of course, yeah, Dennis had that spin, didn't he? So he hasn't really recovered anything time-wise, still 5 seconds back.
Oh my word! As our leader tries to go for a Rouge side by side with a Mercedes, and it nearly ended in total disaster for him, but yeah, he was able to get through cleanly. Where is our Marco Archdiacono then? He's just heading through Eau Rouge now, ahead of Dustin Hickman, so there you go. The undercut worked. Marco Archdiacono is now up into, I believe, 6th place.
Apparently we're being asked to do a week 13 street stock broadcast, so think it's on, boys. You bring the booze, we'll bring the broadcast.
There you go.
The only thing is we have to join in on the fun. That would be entertaining.
Just name it, I'll head down the news agents. Yeah, and especially if it's an oval broadcast, that's definitely out of our comfort zone, so it'll be something for us to watch. Something for us to watch of interest.
To be honest, the commentary wouldn't be that difficult, would it? He's turning left, going straight.
High line, low line.
I jest to all the oval guys that are going to give me some crap right now.
Road course, so and so, Alex, going through the funny chicane. And Dennis Duna, he's got a whole lot on his plate here in the middle of a GT3 sandwich, and the same for the other Daytona prototype in Gianni Vecchio. They should be able to dispatch of all of these guys now on the way to Blanchimont, but this is not really what Dennis Duna wanted. It was also pretty for him, leading the way. Now he's got to deal with a rough C-spec of Corsia. No, it looks like I know, so Nikolai Karotin going into Blanchimont.
Oh, that is busy through Blanchimont there. Look at that.
Word.
Oh, the exit. Oh.
This is the Audi of Blaskovals, the Audi of Abate, and then it's the Daytona prototype of Vecchio, Kisoglu in his Mercedes, and then Mikulerki. Those two battling over position as well. And then you've got Nikolai Karotin in his rough C-spec, and Marco Diacono who's now coming onto the rear of this group. This is what you call a gaggle, I'd say.
Everyone through, looks good.
Close battle further up the road, which the Daytona prototype leaders are about to negotiate. This is Giannis Shordakis versus Alessandro Dalladone going into Les Combes, and they're now joined by Simone Marcheno. And here comes Tim Bertie. Fancies his opportunity here with the two Mercs battling in front of him, and it's a tricky part of the circuit to get past this lap traffic. So let's see how this goes.
How it can change so quickly. These guys. So Bertie right back on it. Obviously dropped off a little bit.
It's a corner with no name, and this is why we love this championship, of course. Bertie going to get a good run through the corner with no name, and Marcheno going to move to the inside to get the position into Pouon. Bertie trying his best to stick with him. Up the inside they both go into this descending left-hander. And a fantastic battle now on our hands. It's probably been one of the best races we've had so far in the IMSA Sportscar Series this season. How long we've got to go in the race? Probably just under 10 minutes. So not too long for these drivers to have this battle with just over a 2-minute lap. About 5 laps or so left of racing as they lap the rough C-spec there of Steve Claes. And now to Blanchimont, and I'll tell you what, I've never seen a car as quick as the Daytona prototypes handling Blanchimont apart from a Formula 1 car, and I'll tell you what, it looks a whole load of fun for these guys, and very tricky as well as Bertie gets a good run on the exit of Stavolo. Now into Blanchimont, so close here. Dabber brakes going through one of the quickest parts of the circuit, and you can see the speed they carry through there, over 160 miles an hour, and now hard on the brakes into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, I think Bertie just got a whole lot of dirty air through there and just had to get out of it a little bit, but he's close. As long as he stays close through here, so he's got the run through Eau Rouge up the top of the hill, that's what's going to matter. Oh, very late on the brakes.
Contact.
A little bit of contact as well.
And Bertie and Marcheno has to take the Kimi Raikkonen line back onto the circuit, and this is going to be it. Side by side for Eau Rouge. Who's going to have the right of way here? It's going to be Marcheno. Tell you what, it might even be worth going on board, Alex, for this lap with Tim Bertie right behind our race leader.
Do it.
There we go then, heading up towards Les Combes, Alex. Running a bit wide. That Dersier might be playing his part again.
Yeah, went in just a little bit deep, didn't he, into the first part, compromised his line. You could see how much time he lost there from sort of 3/10 back. He's all of a sudden back to 6/10, so little mistakes.
Through the corner with no name. Of course, Marcheno can start to stretch his legs a little bit because they haven't got too much in the way of traffic. They're just lapping there the Daytona prototype of Chris Pence.
Yeah, Marcheno's car looks good through that sort of second sector as well. Really planted, he was able to get the power down really well. Bertie's car looking good in some of the higher speed stuff, I think.
Going into the Fania chicane. This is
wide.
The initial apex there. Now towards Stavolo. Bit of a gap made up here. Across the line it was 4/10 of a second, and maybe that lunge up the inside of the source, Alex, that was Tim Bertie's opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It was away 9/10 of a second, so bit of a bad lap there from Tim.
Since the pit stops are all completed, we'll give you an opportunity to look at the top 5 or maybe even top 10 in all the classes. Marcheno leading the way, Bertie second, Dennis Duna is in third, closing up actually to the back of these guys now. He's not too far off Tim Bertie in the closing stages of this race, probably under a second. Then it's Marco Diacono in fourth place now. He's got past Fabrice Cornelis.
Good little drive from him really to get himself back into fourth. Critical for championship points, that is.
And then fifth is Cornelis and sixth Gianni Vecchio. Then seventh in class is Dustin Hickman. Eighth is scrolling back through them all. It is Gonzalez. Then ninth Newman. Then in the German GT3s, Padvel Ledvan leading the way by quite a bit now over Johan Espinassi. And then third in class is Patrick Gugel with Bakalega fourth, and Gianni Shordakis and Alessandro Dalladone all battling over their fifth place in class. And then in the rough sea specs, has it all calmed down there? That is the question. Jürgen Frank leading the way? No, by quite a bit. David Barraclough in second. Third is Marcel Fassbender and Leonardo Corti in fourth. Pitted early. It hasn't worked out at all for him. He's off the podium.
Corti obviously was in second, so that's important and critical for the championship, of course. So Corti needs to get back past Barraclough here at least, doesn't he?
Or maybe even... Oh, he's off! Leonardo Corti off. And there you go, Alex. Said it was critical. And he's in panic stations now.
Yeah, chalk this one up. That's going to be a drop week, I think, for him. But so the two people that he absolutely needed to beat to make sure they didn't close up on him, so Barraclough and Fassbender are away. I have to say, a second and third. He'll just be grateful that Jürgen Frank's there to make sure they're not getting first and second.
Close up just a little bit again in the German GT, in the the overall class, because look, here comes Marcheno. Where does he go? Whoa, the roughs and the German GT3's in the way, going into Blanchimont, and wow, he did a fantastic job, as best as he could really, of negotiating two of the slower classes.
Oh, someone into the wall, heavy behind. Who was that?
Oh, it's Nespanassi. Nespanassi in the German GT3s. His Audi is gone, and it was just the slightest touch with the AstroTurf. Tried to rescue it, and yeah, heavy contact with the outside wall, I should say.
He's rolled it, guys. That's more than 4 fingers. Down your bottles.
Come on.
Does it in style.
There you go.
Oh, where is he on it? He's just lost it on his own.
Yeah, on the
just got all out of shape, tried to catch it. As it does, it snaps back and boom, there we go, he's on his roof.
I'd love to know what determines a shot, what determines, whatever it is. Maybe send over the rules to whatever our email address is these days, admin at Apex Racing TV or something, I presume. Going into Lake Com. Lead battle back on again here, because Jürgen Frank is not giving these guys a helping hand. Bertie and Marcheno into Rivage at the bottom of the hill. What's good news for Marcheno though, because the next car in front of these guys is miles away. It's in Stavolo, so once again the top two close up, and Dennis Duna still trying his best to hang with these guys. Oh, with entering the closing stages, about 5 minutes to go. Any other battles on track? We've still got battle between Nespolino and Hugo Preto. This is over 1, 2, 3 for 5th and 6th in class.
Yeah, Dalladone is still there as well, so 3 cars very close. Second and third also in the GT3 class, very close too. So yes, it's all going on, but the C-Specs have settled themselves right down, so to be fair, I think we need it, because we're struggling enough to keep up with the 2 classes that are going out.
Dear.
And there is a battle side by side now.
And Ashley Kono's in the mix as well, isn't he? If that's what we're looking at.
This is for second place in GT3s.
Oh,
they're together.
Oh no! Which Daytona prototype was that? And a disqualification. Trying to frantically go through. Come on, laptop, work with me here. It might be I think it's Cornelis. Yes, it is. Fabrice Cornelis caught up in a right mess there.
It was Fassbender that got just a little bit in the way, and that's what allowed them to go side by side. Look at this.
Barraclough had to take evasive action in his rough. Dear me.
Oh, He got through it though. That's like, oh, where is he? Where is he? Let's find him because that's some driving. I'd like to see that from on board.
I can tell that Leonardo Corsi's been disqualified as well. While we're looking
So
at
it
the
was
replay,
Barraclough, wasn't it? It wasn't Fassbender. My apologies, but yeah, he was basically what closed him up, and he could just see him all streaming past. Oh.
it is not over, Alex, in our lead battle overall, because Dennis Dooner has got himself into second place. He got past Tim Bertie at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Can also inform you that Leonardo Corsi's been disqualified as well from this race.
Like a boss. Barraclough through that. It was like, yep, you do what you guys want. I know where I'm going.
I'm sure he just had the spotter go right, and he just did exactly that. And yeah, that is a race-saving manoeuvre from him. What are we on, Alex? The penultimate lap? We've probably got one more lap after this, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've got one more. Whereabouts are the guys? Yeah, so they're just coming down and back towards Blanchimont again. So yeah, one more I think is all we're going to get.
Brilliant race so far. Dennis Dooner, I don't think he's got enough time to get to Simone Marcheno. They have got a lapped car that's just coming into the bus stop chicane now in Azhar Iqbal, and then after that it's pretty much it. So if any lap traffic's going to have a say in the deciding of this race, it's probably going to be him.
Bertie lost a bit of ground that lap as well, so it really is going to come down, I'm sure, to the front two, unless they start battling really, really aggressively. Nothing much going on in GT3s. They've separated apart now somewhat. So let's stay with this prototype battle. Oh, a little lock up there. Going to cost him some time. Won't quite get out the corner as well.
Is Dooner close enough to pick up a bit of slipstream, Alex?
Oh, definitely. 0.6 of a second. Let's see what the speeds are like. They go up the hill.
156 miles an hour through Eau Rouge, and out up the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, Dooner already closing in as well. You can see the difference in the speed. So 278 versus 270. So quite quick. Looks one way. Just commits to going around the outside.
Here's the traffic. Here's Azhar Iqbal. Oh! Into Malmedy for the final time. And now down the hill towards Rivage. Dennis Dooner, who was leading the race earlier, it was Marcheno, of course, that took him out. No love lost there between them. And he wants to lead back on the final half a lap. Through the corner with no name. Marcheno was half a second slower than Dooner on that last lap. And I think, Alex, it's going to have to be a move up the inside into the bus stop chicane. A last-ditch manoeuvre for Dooner to win this race if he's going to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. White flag is out.
Into the Fania chicane for the final time. Been a while since we've seen a battle like this for the lead in the Daytona prototypes on the final lap. And now to Stavilo and Curve Paul Frere for the final time. Is there enough?
But they both took a 1x there just to get the run and another.
That might just have decided it for Dennis. Took all sorts of off tracks there, using them all up, an incident limit of 17 for this series.
3/10, this is close.
Through
Blanchimont. That looks good, but it's going to have to be a dive.
Disqualification. Oh, I thought he was gone then. That's my laptop playing mind games with me. Into the bus stop chicane. The timing line comes up quickly. And through the final corner. Oh, Marcheno nearly loses it. And the checker flag is out. And Simone Marcheno wins round 9 of the IMSA Sportscar Series here at Spa. Phew. That's close.
Right. And comes
Marco for fourth.
As well.
Fifth is going to be
victory in the GT3s.
Victory in the GT3s for Pavel Ledvan. Second place is going to be Alessandro Baccalega with Luigi Nespolino. Should be taking the final spot on the podium.
Now here he comes. Those guys are pretty separated apart. He has Nespolino. What a result! We were talking about him needing a good result, and somehow he managed to drag out a third place. And yeah, a whole load of points. So just what he wanted. We missed Jürgen Frank coming across as well. He takes victory in the C-Specs. Great drive from him.
Now. Barraclough second. And wow, when it was all on the table, that huge crash in front of him, that manoeuvre was able to get him second place in the C-Specs.
Yeah,
with Leonardo
Corti out as well. Yeah, it's very, very, very critical.
think that's pretty much everyone finished. We've got Giannis Shordakis coming through the final chicane now. Was battling with for the lead of the, also in that second group, sorry, in the German GT3s for a while, but problems for him. And we're now waiting for the last few cars to come across the line. Steve Clace coming through the final corner. That's going to be him in his rough. Across the line there. That is 24th overall for him. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in class. Nikolai Karotin now just coming through the final chicane. And I think he is the last car.
Sorry, I'm still just watching the leaders on the in-lap.
Running through the finishing order then from... That was been a brilliant and very entertaining 45 minutes here in the IMSA Sportscar Series at Spa. Simone Marcheno takes the win, and Dennis Duna finishing in second, just under 0.2 of a second behind at the end. Tim Bertie finishing in third, rounding out the podium. Fourth for Marco Archdiacono. Good pit stop strategy from him to get fourth place after starting in sixth. Gianni Vecchio finishing in fifth. Sixth for Dustin Hickman. Seventh for Pablo Gonzalez. Newman finishing in eighth. And then Pavel Ledvan taking the win in the German GT3s. Chris Pence in his Daytona prototypes, the next car along, in 10th place overall, one lap down. Then Alessandro Baccalega second in the German GT3s. Luigi Nespolino in third. Hugo Preto fourth. Alessandro Dalladone in fifth. Jorge Blasco-Vals in sixth. Nestoras Kiasoglu in 7th, Mikalerki 8th, Marco Abati in 9th, and Giannis Shordakis rounding up the top 10 in that category. Then into the Rus C-Specs, Jürgen Frank taking a win. Pretty straightforward for him. And then David Baraklov second in the Rus C-Specs with Marcel Fassbender in third, Tobias Luiguar in fourth, Steve Clace in fifth, Nikolai Karotin in sixth. And then the cars that were involved in issues really during the race. Fabrice Cornelis was involved in that contact at Blanchimont. And he finished 26 3 laps down overall. Azar Iqbal got lapped on the final lap. Lapped again. He was involved in deciding the race, really. Finished in 27 3 laps down. And then Patrick Guchel in 28 4 laps down. Johan Lespinassi also 4 laps down. Leonardo Corti disqualified late on. Maximilian Scheider 6 laps down. He was out. And then same for Benoit Vuillemoz. And Martin van Loozenhoorn, some entertainment from him at the start of the race. But yeah, he went off. And yeah, that was the last we saw of him. Wow, Alex, that was Spa-Francorchamps once again never fails to deliver, does it?
No, not at all. Another great race. Thoroughly enjoyed that as well. So, and yeah, awesome that the chat got involved with it all so well as well. So yeah, Nicholas and his drinking game. I think that entertained a lot of people.
So great to hear your support as always on the YouTube chat. This is definitely one of the most popular series we've got on iRacing, and of course we've got another official series coming up on Monday, Alex. It's the Porsche Cup, second race meeting of that.
Yeah, that'll be a great one. Myself and Conrad Venter in the booth for that. That should be a lot of fun. Round where are we? I remember where we are now. Short track, Okayama. There we go.
It's going to be interesting, yeah. And it's so Super Sunday here. It's the Super Monday as well. You've got the Porsche Cup. You've got the second race meeting of the ASRC Sportscar Series, going on about.
Frank and his teammate having some fun out there.
Oh, are they?
Oh, the poor C-Specs got annihilated.
Oh no!
That's it. Drink up, boys. That's your final drink for it. He's on his roof. The leader's been killed.
Yeah, you've got to down it really, because it's the end of it's the end of the broadcast. Whatever you've got, if you've just got a pint, I'm sorry. Yeah, down it goes. What a way! Oh, dear me. Who's that using his Daytona prototype as a battering ram? Oh, it's definitely a white. Oh dear, there's no front end left of that. Yeah, on that bombshell. We'll run you through what's coming up as well on Apex Racing. Yeah, ASRC Sportscar Series 8 PM, and he just exited the session before he was going to get walloped again by the Daytona prototypes. And yeah, Rigmatech Sportscar Series 2 AM Monday night as well. Then Tuesday, yeah, Formula Renault's 8 PM GMT. Then Thursday, BSRTC Championship goes on there, and yeah, we're back on Saturday again for our usual action: SRA GT Series and BSR Kia Cup and Yeah, and BSR Kia Cup. So thanks to Alex, iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver, for joining me for the IMSA Sportscar Series. He'll be back later on for the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. And yeah, we'll also see you later on for the Mazda MX-5s. Unfortunately now, I'm on a coach back up off to Manchester. So from myself and from Alex Simpson, it's a good afternoon to you all from Spa-Francorchamps.